All right, guys, so we're out here in Sutter's Landing. It's a park out here in the Sacramento area, and we're gonna be talking about taxes today. And one thing that I should first say is that we're not accountants. This is not financial advice, but we're gonna show you guys how we are able to save money on our taxes. And another thing that I should say is that if you are an employee, meaning you have a W-2 job and you don't have your own business, one of the first things you need to do is monetize a skill and turn it into a business. Now I want to talk about some of the ways that you can save money on your taxes, because it's not just about having a business, although being a business owner is the best way. Let's talk about the things first that you can do if you're an employee, right? So one way that we were able to save money in our taxes was to invest in our 401k. That's first and foremost. So when we started saving money or contributing to our 401k, we were maxing out our 401k. And the way that works is, like, let's say you invest $20,000 per year in your 401k. That will reduce your taxable income by $20,000. So if you have partners in a relationship, your spouses, then you're saving $40,000. Not saving, but you're reducing your taxable income by $40,000 if you're investing $20,000 each in your 401ks, right? That's one way. Another thing is, if you have a flexible spending account allows you to save money on taxes by being able to use this account for medical related expenses or expenses that are related to, like, let's say, for example, you want to buy toiletries. You can use a flexible spending account to buy toiletries with that. If you guys need medical equipment, you can use a flexible spending account for that. And you can make these purchases on Amazon and many other websites that have these products available online. Okay, another thing is a dependent savings account. So that's an account if you have to provide care, whether it's childcare for your kids or elder care for your parents. And that one allows you to get reimbursed on the amount that you pay towards that type of care. So for our son, we pay about $1,400 a month for his daycare, for the school that he goes to. And with this dependent savings account, we're able to get reimbursed. And the cool thing is that this is like a pre-tax account. So we don't have to pay taxes on the amount that we pay towards childcare. But there is a limit on that, right? So the limit is something like $5,000 a year. And unfortunately, Monica doesn't qualify for that because she's per diem. So I was the only one that was able to qualify for that. Next, we have the child tax credit. If you make under $200,000 as an individual and under $400,000 as a married couple filing jointly, you get a child tax credit. So you can get up to, I believe it's like $2,000 credit per child. But when you get a refund from the government, I think the maximum amount is $1,600 per child as of 2023. So don't quote me on that, but just look it up. That's another way. Then one thing that we do every year, obviously you need to do this, is if you own a home, you are going to save money on your taxes by writing off your property taxes and your mortgage insurance, right? So those are two ways. Make sure that you have an accountant that asks for that information, and if they don't, you need to find another accountant. Another thing you need to do is, if you have registration insurance or licensing fees for your car, you may be able to write that off. I know you can do it in California. You should look at your state and see if you can write it off for your state. But some states allow you to do that. All right, Monica has to hold the camera because I have to look at my list. Now, let's talk about why you need to start a business, okay? Because if you have a business, then you can write things off like education expenses. Let's say you have a hobby and you're really passionate about it. You could be into some crafts or arts, and you can take classes. Once you register your business, you can take classes for this business and you write this off on your taxes. In order to write off these expenses on your taxes, you need to make sure that if you're in business for 5 years, don't quote me on this again, but 3 or 2 of those years have to be profitable, or the IRS will then consider your business a hobby. So make sure you understand that rule and look it up before you start doing this. Another thing that you can do, and this is something that we did, and we actually did this as a personal matter, not a business matter, but we did what's called tax loss harvesting. Last year, we took out around $26,000 from our brokerage account. We sold $26,000 worth of stocks. And when we sold these stocks, we had paid, I believe it's like $29,000 for the stocks, but they were only worth $26,000 by the time we withdrew the money from that account. So we lost $3,000. And that's what's called tax loss harvesting, because then you get a reduction in your taxes when you file for your tax return. That's another way you can save money. If you do it strategically and you want to save money, then the stuff that is making you money, you don't sell. But the stuff that's losing you money, you can sell if you don't want to invest in that specific stock anymore. All right, let's talk about another thing. If you have a business, a home-based business, and let's say you have an office in your home, and you need to write off your utilities, okay? You write off a portion of the utilities. So let's say you have a space that's 10 feet by 10 feet, and that's where your office is, right? That's 100 square feet. And now your house is 1,000 square feet large. I mean, it's a small house, right? But let's say it's 1,000 square feet in size for the entire house, and you have an office space that's 100 square feet. You can write off 10% from your utilities and all of the bills that you pay that are related to your home, because your office takes up 10% of that space in your home. So now you can write off 10% of all those utilities, which is great because we save money on our gas bill, electric bill, on all these other bills that you would not be able to save money on if you didn't have a business.
It just reminded me of this quote I saw on Instagram. Want to know who your rich friends are? And they say that whether they look forward to tax season or they dread it.
I will say though, like I was pretty nervous this tax season because we made more last year from our business than we made the previous year.
Yeah.
But I knew that, you know, when we took out that money from our brokerage account, it was going to help us. I also knew that the money that we spent on employees, that's another thing. If you have a business, hire employees, right? I talked about this previously, but hiring employees from online jobs.ph. This is a Filipino website. That's where we hired our employees.
All of Jason's employees are Filipino, including me.
So I have a virtual assistant that helps me find sponsors and helps us find nurses for me to interview. I'm actually trying to do away with the podcast. So this is something that I might have to ask her to do something else. And if you guys still want us to do those podcast videos, let me know, because I don't think I want to do them anymore.
Yeah, why is that?
It's just, I'm not as passionate about those videos
Unless,
as I am about these.
Well, if it's an in-person interview, I feel like it's worth it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're also losing their magic.
Yeah.
They're not getting as much views as they used to, unless it's like a really good episode.
Yeah. And also, I mean, a lot of the people that I interview, it's like they're trying to sell a course or they're trying to sell something. And that's not what I intended to do with the podcast. I really wanted like genuine people who just had really interesting stories to tell to come on the podcast.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to help them out.
Yeah.
Either, but I feel like if that's going to be the norm, people are going to lose interest.
Yeah. You know, when I first interviewed these nurses back in the day, the first nurses that I interviewed, like Eric, the Lambo guy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And even Tasha, you know, the girl who owns that
med
spa. Or, you know, nurses like Krishia, the home health nurse, or nurses like Oliver and Poke, and like all these nurses that I interviewed when I first started this channel.
I feel like if they had really some like valuable information they could really share, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But if you're just gonna go to the show and just, you know, try to sell courses, then I feel like I don't want our viewers to just, you know, watch that. You know, we want to provide some value.
Yeah, so if you still want us to do those podcast videos, just let me know. But I would prefer to do in-person videos. So if you're in California and you want us to interview you in person, please reach out to us.
You know what we want to really want to put in our episode? So a lot of the commenters, a lot of our supporters always ask us, can you make it out here as a single earner? Like if you're a single parent and you have kids. And I have a coworker who just made like a very sensible purchase in her home. And I was like, okay, we need more people like that in our channel. We want to know if you're open to discussing your numbers with us.
I would love that.
And we would love to do a home tour.
Yes.
Or anybody who wants to do a home tour, if you just bought something, maybe even if you're double income.
Yes.
That'd be great, because we want to show other lifestyles too, not just ours.
Yeah, and I know there's so many of you that actually live in the Sacramento area.
Yes.
So please reach out to us and let us know that you'd be interested in being on one of our videos. And no pressure. Like if there's anything that you don't want to disclose, then we won't, okay?
Yeah.
Also, if there's anything we need to blur out in the video, we will blur it out so we can maintain your privacy. But please reach out to us so we can get some video.
We do really need a single earner who owns a home and, you know, making some smart financial moves.
Yeah.
So we would love to feature you. If we could.
Single income earners, double income earners, families with kids.
Yes.
Please, it doesn't matter. Just if you're a nurse or you're a healthcare worker even, like just, but you know, just reach out to us. All right, so again, going back to the topic of like employees, right? So we have this virtual assistant and I pay her from the business income that we make about $200 every 2 weeks. And then we have a video editor, which we pay $700 every 2 weeks. And then you need to think about this too. When you are starting a business, you might need a lawyer or you might need an accountant. The lawyer might have to give you some legal advice. You can write that off in your taxes. So if you have to get a consultation from a lawyer, write that off on your taxes. If you need to pay an accountant to file your taxes or give you strategic advice, write that off on your taxes, right? So again, the business side of saving money on your taxes is much larger than the personal side of trying to save money on your taxes if you only have a W-2 job. So try to get started with your own business so you can get, first of all, you can earn more money, become financially independent, and you can save money on your taxes.
Yeah, I guess also probably for somebody who's not financially savvy like me, the word business or starting a business sounds so intimidating, but it really doesn't have to be. You can Google everything now. All the information is readily available. But
exactly. Like Monica was just literally, she had a question about a previous video that we made about term life insurance. What happens if you don't pay your premiums?
Yeah.
And she just Googled it. You can literally Google anything. I actually had a consultation with this guy. He's in his late 40s, I believe. And he said that he uses a private web browser because he doesn't want his information tracked. And he has a physical authentication key that he plugs into his laptop so that he doesn't get his accounts hacked. So anytime he wants to log into like Google or any website, he can use this key. And I asked him how he learned that. He was like, YouTube. I learned everything on YouTube.
There's so many other, like even Facebook groups, or there's so many other communities you can do, like Reddit, where you can, you know, in these community, you can ask each other basically anything, really, finance or like anything related to where you live. Gosh, back then we didn't have these informations. I was telling my daughter this, you know, our 17-year-old daughter. I was like, you know, it's so much easier for you. You know, you have access to all this information. Back then we had to use the encyclopedia.
So true. That is so true. That's how old we are. I mean, come on. I'm gonna be 40 I'm gonna be 39 this year. I'm like dating myself over here. And Monica's gonna be 36.
Gosh,
right?
yes.
But if you saw that previous video, we talked about term life insurance, and we feel financially secure right now. We know that our investments are growing at a rate that I'm happy with, and we have equity in our home. Our net worth has just reached over 700,000, and it continues to grow, especially now with this business income that we have.
And our savings.
And our savings.
Yeah.
So if you guys want more videos like this, or you have a topic that you want us to talk about,
Sunny.
let us know and we'll react to it, or we'll address it in another video. All right? Bye.
Ciao.